Hello everybody, welcome back to Mechabellum. Today we have Forgotten Arbiter, the strongest player when it comes to combat power, versus Sako. This should be an extremely good game. Giant Specialist coming out for Forgotten Arbiter, Fang Stormcaller with 4200 HP, that's a lot. Sako might be tempted by the Supply Specialist. It's rolled high, and he does grab it. I think that this is the right choice here for Sako. I'm not sure who's slated to win this. If I had to give it to anybody, I would say the opening hand would probably go to Forgotten Arbiter, just because the Stormcallers deal with every single thing that's on the field currently. Wow, and he just kind of builds himself a nice little fortress wall here. I like that quite a bit. Sako opts to spread out a little bit more, and these Mustang, they were going to go uncontested, but it looks like Forgotten Arbiter has chosen to spread out his units a little bit more. I think this is a wise decision, as having the Fang in front of the tower does mean that your opponent can't do the Stormcaller cheese, where you simply put a Stormcaller right at the front here. It does have range, even without the range upgrade, to just pummel away that tower and can quickly win you a couple of rounds. It does take a little while to get units online that can deal with that quick enough before it shoots off a barrage, or if your opponent plays a shield on it, that can become very annoying. I like the use of Fang here. They're going into our Fang and Crawlers. These Crawlers are going into the back line for Forgotten Arbiter. Sako also chose to get a few Crawlers. Now these Crawlers and Snipers are really well placed. The Crawlers will be able to overlap the Snipers, which means that any of these Stormcaller shots should be directed at the Crawlers. Now, the reason why Stormcallers are at least considered a little oppressive currently by many of the users is because Stormcaller shots tend to overlap. They have good splash damage. So even if these Stormcallers shoot at the right units, quote unquote, they shoot at the Crawlers, they'll still be getting a lot of extra damage on these other units, such as these Mustang. Mustang don't stand a chance. These little Crawlers in the center don't stand a chance, though. Crawlers on the right able to push through for Forgotten Arbiter, and this looks like it's gonna go the way of Forgotten Arbiter. There are just too many Crawlers on the field, and even having enough Fang here to clean up these Crawlers in the center, yeah, this is gonna be a good amount of damage actually coming out for Forgotten Arbiter. He has about a unit of Fang, about a unit of Crawlers, and 2 units of Stormcallers that have survived the battle. That's very good. Only losing, really, a unit of Crawlers and a unit of Fang. Let's take a look at how many kills these Stormcallers got. 13, 19. That's pretty darn good. I wouldn't be surprised if both players went for the tech spec here. It's one of those cards, the earlier you get it, the better. Yeah, Sako does agree with me. I do really like the shield drop, just because if you do get the skill specialist, you can get a lot of shields out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Forgotten Arbiter goes with the tech spec as well. Let's take a moment and see what our players are actually picking. It looks like more Crawlers here for Sako. Now he has to be a little careful, because the trend is to get more chaff when you're losing the chaff war. But the problem with getting too much chaff is that it can quickly be countered, and when your chaff is all countered, it feels like a huge investment lost. So let's say that Sako ends up getting another 2 units of Crawlers next turn. Then Forgotten Arbiter has a real incentive just to grab a Vulcan, or maybe even 2, and then he'll just easily be able to clean up a lot of the chaff. I do like the splash damage here on the Mustangs. This will just help him clear out all of the chaff on the field very, very quickly. Forgotten Arbiter doesn't know about this, and he went with the shield device specialist. Okay, interesting. And he opts to play an Overlord in the back line. Now he knows that those Mustang will turn around and shoot at the Overlord. The Mustang normally don't have enough DPS to get through an Overlord as it spawns in, especially not with the splash damage. Now he didn't know about the splash damage, but luckily this Overlord will be able to come in here no problem and clear everything up. Now the Overlord can't move either. The Overlord does have the ability to get the jump drive tech upgrade. He does not have that unlocked though, so it really won't be supporting him. It looks like the Mustang were able to push through on the left. I don't know, honestly, without the Overlord, he may have still won this battle. That's worth noting, as It did cost him a unit of Mustang, and honestly, those splash damage Mustang are what helped clean up the left significantly. He's going to have to commit more units to the flank, though, if he doesn't want his Overlord to be countered very easily for Forgotten Arbiter. Few of the crawlers make it in. This is just kind of a foregone conclusion. Nothing else shoots up. And Forgotten Arbiter is actually very lucky. Because the splash damage on the Mustang significantly reduced their single point damage, he's going to be in a really good spot to continue forward with this aerial aggression. Now, Sako does have snipers out already, so having those snipers does mean that the cost to upgrade the snipers is reduced slightly. What I mean by that is the more units you have of the same type, the lower the upgrade cost is truly. Let's say the range upgrade, $300, but you have 10 units. That's affecting so many more units than if you only had one unit that you're paying $300 to get a range upgrade on. So definitely worth thinking about. Giant Hunter comes out here for Sako. As long as he kills that Overlord every turn, in 3 turns that will pay itself off, he opts to grab a Giant Killer, the Melting Point. That's probably his best option to kill the Overlord quickly. He doesn't know it, but honestly, that Melting Point is going to come very good for him, having that unlocked. He could pop down another one and continue the chaff aggression. Let's see how this rolls out. Both players spent their money very quickly. Who got the upgrade? The Crawlers. Okay. Honestly, upgrading the Crawlers isn't bad. They still don't have enough HP to survive even a single missile shot, but next turn they will if these Stormcallers do not upgrade. That's assuming that these Crawlers do as well. Oh. Oh my gosh. Redeployment. Saved by the bell. Forgotten Arbiter actually picked up the redeployment specialist, or just the redeployment tech, which allows you to redeploy your units every single turn. That is super, super good. Lucky, but very good. It all will come down to how well this Melting Point performs, but Melting Points are slow, and it's very much out of position here. It could get nuked down by the 2 Giants plus Stormcallers. We'll have to see. I would think that this opening engagement on the left would still go to Sako. There was no real change here, and these Mustang are just doing a great job cleaning up all those crawlers. The level 2 crawlers are going to make it in here significantly faster. Problem is that this Overlord doesn't have any support now. And these little crawlers, oh my god. These little crawlers are actually going to all get cleaned up by the Overlord. Not only that, the tower drops at a really bad time. This Overlord might get in on the, this Overlord might get melted by the Melting Point. And it looks like the Melting Point will go for the Vulcan first. Okay. It will be able to claim both of these units, most likely before anything else gets done. Yes, I believe the Melting Point is going to win this here for Sako. Wow, that is just some unfortunate units attack patterns. When the Overlord and the Vulcan both turned away from the Melting Point, that really did cost Forgotten Arbiter the game. What I was hoping would happen there for Forgotten Arbiter is the Melting Point would start hitting the Vulcan, and the Overlord would be able to slowly kill the Melting Point. Maybe not fully, but at least deal enough damage to it that the remainder of the units would be able to clean it out. I do love the extended Stormcaller range. Having that 30 or 40 extra range, pairing that with the range upgrade as well, your Stormcallers can shoot enemies pretty much in the back line of your opponent's base. Very powerful. Sako opts to skip. Okay. You know, maybe the smoke bomb would be worth it. I do like the skill specialist, but neither player really have many skills. All right, worthwhile. And also a little dog shake. My little dog just walked in here, and she is going crazy. What a happy little girl. Oh, looks like another unit of Fang and some more Melting Points. Interesting that he chose the Melting Point here. He's preempting the Vulcan drop. And this is extremely important. You don't want to be a reactive player. You need to be proactive. You know that your opponent has already spent several $100s unlocking these giants. Oh, never mind. He's a giant specialist. Well, even better. You know your opponent is more likely to play giants as they're a giant specialist. So what's the giant killer? It's Melting Points. Having a few of these on the field is great. We also see arc lights unlocked. I don't see any arc lights on the field, but they're there. And those Fang were positioned here just to be support for the melting point. I think that's a great play. Now, these snipers really haven't done anything throughout the game, but this guy might start earning his keep if he can start shooting. No. If he could start shooting at that Overlord early, it may have been worthwhile, but they just... Poor snipers are constantly shooting at nothing. Down go the rest of the crawlers, and as the rest of these crawlers drop, these Overlords should get... or these Vulcans should get melted by the melting point. We'll find out here in a second. There's one. Here comes number two. Blammo. That should be that. A tower does drop. I don't think it will be enough, though. The melting points have more than enough HP, and they should be able to march forward and kill these Stormcallers. Probably not the one on the left, though. It goes down. Let's see if the one on the right can march forward in time. That's a lot of Stormcallers. And they have the oh, no. I was going to say, see if they had the electromagnetic blast. Oh, they do. They do. And you know what? That's a very good answer to all ground-based giants. Actually, I opt to build my Stormcallers the exact same way because the electromagnetic explosion is so good against giant units. It slows them down by 40%, and all land-based giant units are slow. So decreasing their speed by 40% again is very, very rough. Oh... Okay, Sako opts for the orbital bombardment. Probably, yes, just to get rid of all of the Stormcallers. Forgotten Arbiter could go with the senior defense specialist. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Granted, there's already melting points out, so his giants, the giants are normally the units that benefit the most from this because they have such large HP pools already. It may not be worth it though, just because these these melting points will get in and kill the Overlord, kill the Vulcan very quickly, even if they have 30% extra HP. It maybe buys them an extra 5 or 6 seconds. Let's see what Sako's doing here. Looks like... shield on the Fangs. Okay. It's surprisingly very useful to have shield on your Fang, even against Stormcallers. Looks like the field recovery was played. The Overlord is no longer on the field. Overlord is no longer on the field. No reason for it anymore. Unfortunately, it's just been countered a little bit too much. The Vulcan have range, though. And I do love the Vulcan range. Did he grab... Yes, subsidized marksman. Or Mustang, excuse me. Subsidized Mustang are fantastic, especially against this field. Mustang deal with chaff fairly well, but in reality, they're really here to kill off these Fang. Fang have lower range than Mustang. Fang have very low HP. Mustang in 2 shots kill Fang. 3 because of the shields now, or actually 4 because of the shields now. Oh, this orbital bombardment is absolutely devastating. Taking out 2 Stormcallers, a unit of Fang. Oh, if one had landed right there, man, that would have made Sako very happy. Oh, but it looks like it took a full unit of Stormcallers out with it. That's pretty darn good. And a lot of these chaff units are able to make it in. These little Fang don't stand a chance, and these Mustangs really make a big difference in the chaff wars. I would think that some upgraded arc lights with range are the next thing on the block here for Sako. These melting points are still going to make it in and kill off the Vulcan, though. This tower, or the shield, won't last very long at all. But, ooh, and there goes the range. I don't actually know if this melting point will even get the Vulcan. The reason I say that is the tower's about to drop. Tower drops. Melting point needs a long time to come online once the tower drops. Oh, but the damage is good. Damage is very good. Alright, that saves him 400 damage. That was close. Forgotten Arbiter showing why he's at the top of the combat power right now. Let's see if Sako can pull it back. No shame in losing to an opponent like Forgotten Arbiter, though. Oh, is it Nuka Clock? It could be Nuka Clock. That'd be a lot of fun. Haste module would also be quite good for both players just because of that increased speed. Right now, the speed is really what's hurting Sako. Forgotten Arbiter does choose it as well. It's interesting how few players take the nuke now. The nuke, because it takes so long to come down, is not great. Sako opts for the nuke. He's on his last leg, so he just might need something. And you know what? Nuke Clock on either of these 2 flanks would do a lot of damage. Yeah, he plays it on the left. Range now for these Mustang. These poor little Fang don't stand a chance. They are going to get absolutely obliterated. What Sako at least I would highly recommend him, are some Stormcallers of his own. Having a couple of Stormcallers on each flank, there's nothing here that's really moving too quickly besides the Mustang. And the Mustang are all stopping pretty much in the same area, right around here, to shoot down the Fang. So that could work out exceedingly well for him. Alrighty, let's watch the engagement. Those shields are placed in a very good spot for both players, but I really don't think that Sako has much of a chance here. The marksmen are slowly leveling, but they're not going to make any difference here, and it really comes down to whether or not this melting point hits the shield. I don't think it will, just because there's enough little Fang here to get shot. Yeah, and these Mustang don't clear them up quick enough. Oh, the shield might drop. It does not. That is unfortunate. The engagement on the right is not going Sako's wise either. In fact, the engagement on the left isn't going his way, even though he played a nuke. That's not something you see very often. The way that I normally use I think about the nuke is, hey, it's a guaranteed win on a flank. If you lose that flank, even when playing a nuke, oh, that's not going to be pretty. And this will be the end of Sako. There's well over 1,000 points of damage here, just because these Stormcallers are worth a lot of damage. Down it goes. Man, this poor little melting point has tanked so much damage. Good plays, great players. I hope to see you guys in the next round. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, if you guys have some battles that you'd like me to cast, shoot them over to the email. I would be happy to cast your games. We have Hawk versus Darwin's game. Wow. Hawk has a really good marksman specialist here. This would be very good. Quick supply actually coming out for Darwin's game. Man, Darwin, he knows what it's all about. He needs that extra $200 first in the game of evolution. Honestly, you know, the species that spawns with, if you've ever played Spore before, if you were to come in there with like some better eyes or something, that'd be pretty good. I'd also be very tempted by this giant. Oh, wow. Actually, Hawk does go with the marksman specialist, but Hawk had an amazing hand to start with, at least in my mind. No Stormcallers. Spawning with Stormcallers is generally considered one of the strongest things to do, just because Stormcallers are great. They shut down the early game very, very well. Let's take a look-see at how they deploy. These are very similar armies. This level 3 marksman will tell the tale if it can get online, meaning if it stops shooting crawlers, it will most likely be shooting crawlers for the first few shots, and get onto these tanks, he'll win the chaff war. So in some way, maximizing the likelihood of your sniper shooting down enemy tanks is really, really important here. There's a little bit more wave clear here for Hawk as well, just because Fang do die to crawlers, but importantly, Fang are ranged. So they will start that killing of the crawlers a little bit quickly. We'll see if that really works out. It looks like Hawk has built himself just a lovely little box. Oh, and Darwin agrees. Darwin thinks, hey, you know what's a super oppressive unit, but a very good unit? It's Stormcallers. And these Stormcallers will absolutely melt Fang. They'll do extreme amounts of damage to the tanks. I have seen a unit of Stormcallers launch and take out 3 to 4 tanks with this setup. And these poor little crawlers just don't stand, or these poor little Fang just don't stand a chance. Even these arc lights are most likely to die to this one unit of Stormcallers. I think this is really going to be the deciding factor. I love this kind of spaceship that we have going on here, though. You've got the little, like, the head, you've got some wings, little thrusters, and there's your pilot. He's ready to go. Unfortunately, the little Fang crumbled very quickly, and it looks like the majority of these crawlers are going to make it through unmolested. Oh, but actually these arc lights right in the center, dealing way more damage than we would have thought, just absolutely crippling the crawler aggression. Wow, these Stormcallers have a lot of work to do if they're going to make it through. I don't know if they'll be able to do so, though. This sniper's going to make quick work of the tanks. And now in go the Fang. Let's see if they can actually get in line quick enough. This is going to be the hardest part of this, is that the Stormcallers can just kill these units while they're coming in. The sniper should at least get 2 of them. Yes, there's the counterattack, but the sniper has extra HP. That's that. Wow. The little spaceship that could. That was absolutely phenomenal here for Hawk. I thought that was super, super cool. Subsidized Stormcallers coming out for Hawk. Hawk realizes I might need some Stormcallers of my own to deal with this. Kind of the best answer to Stormcallers right now are Stormcallers. Of course, flying units work very well as well, but just having more Stormcallers is great. I was playing online recently, and I did do the Stormcaller cheese. That episode will be coming out here shortly. But if Hawk wants to, he could place a unit of Stormcallers right here. They should shoot right down the line. It will kill the tower. They'll most likely drop the tower before the enemy Stormcallers get online to shoot back, and he'll just win the game. It's an incredibly powerful move, though it does get countered after the first 1 or 2 rounds that it comes out. No, Hawk opts not to go for the cheese. I like that these players in the tournaments tend to play pretty straight and narrow. I would recommend Darwin also put a unit on the flanks here. He can deploy a 3rd unit. Let's see if he does so. It doesn't look like it. He's opting instead to place some missiles. With that unit on the flanks, though, all of a sudden this becomes much more dangerous because the tanks would most likely get turned. They would come after this unit, or at least the unit would be able to flank. Can make a big difference there. Crawlers are great for flanking units. Also, crawlers are just good for distraction units in the late game. Right now, Hawk could cause 3 units to go after 1 unit of crawlers, and if those crawlers are set up in the back line and he has enough Stormcallers to punish the front, it can really make a difference. Wow, actually Darwin thought about that and did the same thing. He thought about that possibility and placed a missile there. Very intelligent. Down go a lot of the tanks. Probably wasn't as many as he was hoping for, though, for Darwin. Again, you want your missiles to get at least 200 worth of value for killing units. Tanks are worth 200, so if you can take out an entire unit of tanks with a missile, it's not too bad. Reality, you probably want to be taking out 250, 400 with a missile to really make it worth its investment. Alright, it's going to come down to Stormcaller wars again, but unfortunately there's more Stormcallers in the south. This should only go one way, and that's the way of Hawk. A good amount of damage. Let's see. Ooh, I do love the extended range on any unit. I think it's just totally worth it. Yes, it normally decreases HP or health, but if your units get 2 shots instead of 1, it's worth it. Missile defense coming out, or missile device coming out for Darwin. Darwin opts to play, wow, he's playing tanks and Fang. Tank, Fang, Stormcaller. You know what this is? Yeah, it's the Steel Symphony. I love the Steel Symphony. We've decided that the calling of things should only be 3 units instead of 4. If he does get snipers as well, then that would be the true Symphony, but we'll see. Lots of crawlers. Ooh, and crawlers that dance. This is great. Those crawlers can just... Well, they're kind of in a bad position, actually, because these Fang are occupying the regular spot for dancing crawlers for Hawk. This is why I wouldn't recommend placing units directly on the front line, because it does cut off their options. And you're going to need those options, but this is a great play here by Hawk. He's going to delay these crawlers coming in. Now, a lot of players would ask, hey, why don't you just place the crawlers in the back line if you're going to be using them, you know, in such a way? And there is an argument to be made for that. You know, why spend an extra $100 on the dance? One, being able to move your units is incredibly powerful. It just gives you 100% more control over the battlefield compared to your opponent if they don't have the movement as well. 2, he can then direct these crawlers. If he wants to, he could have them move back. If that doesn't work out this turn, have them move to the flank, have them move over this way, or cut back through the center. I really like that. And unfortunately, those little Fang pay the ultimate price. And in come the crawlers again, just here to delay these units one more time. Let's see if it can work out. Man, this Arclight has been doing just the best work. 87 kills. That little Arclight that could. This sniper's actually been doing a very good job as well. Able to melt these tanks. See, that's why having a sniper in support is so important. I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but those Stormcaller shots were very messy, and they'd actually left the tank up. Having that sniper there just to shoot one more time to make sure that those Stormcallers get back online quickly is very important. Not only that, the sniper was able to get in there and pop off a Stormcaller very quickly. Very, very useful. None of these Stormcallers have any upgrades, and both players are relying on their Stormcallers quite heavily. Whoever grabs range first is going to be in an exceedingly good position. Darwin takes a few more hits. Can he evolve and adapt? I don't really like any of these upgrades. Maybe the photon coating, but you know, that's about it. Darwin agrees with me that the photon coating is the best choice there. Ooh, especially if he goes with a couple of rhinos just to break the front line. And this is where the mobile beacon can become incredibly powerful. The mobile beacon is what I affectionately refer to as the dance. Wow, there's the rhino. He could also position another rhino right here in this corner and have it just pound down right into this area with the whirly-durly. He doesn't need to do it this turn. But what will happen is the rhino will go all the way through, land whenever a unit makes contact or gets too close to enemy units, it will stop and attack them. But if the rhino was to stop here, do the whirly-durly, it could potentially kill 2 to 3 of these units. It would be absolutely amazing. That rhino would need serious support though. And unfortunately the photon coating has gone on this rhino on the left. In order to make that work, he would have to recycle this rhino. But I think this rhino is really going to work out. Even with the Phoenix. Wow, 3 Phoenix. A masterful play here by Hawk. Why? Because these Fang are really the only anti-air. There's only 2 units of them, and they have been decimated by Stormcaller shots every single turn. Yeah, unfortunately, Darwin made a smart move in playing out this Rhino, but I don't think it will make any difference, as there's nothing really that shoots up. Phoenix are a great play here. Absolutely masterful. Good missile shots killing off the tanks. That might mean that he can deal some damage in the front line, but I don't think so. And in fact, old Hawk is playing much more defensively now that his Stormcallers have fire? Oh no. Really? It's Darwin that's chosen fire on the Stormcallers. I would not have done so if I were him. Mostly because he's the one with a little bit more chaff on the field. And unfortunately, that fire burned away a lot of his own crawlers. Oh well. Everything dies, and these Phoenix are probably going to earn themselves close to, if not a level. Yeah, there's one with a level on it. Alright. Good killing. Darwin takes another bit of punishment. Let's see if Hawk can continue to dominate the game. Oh. Underground threat for Darwin. He needs more targets for these Phoenix. And I think this is a wise decision. It will turn the Stormcallers. I don't think that the crawlers will get much done, but it will turn them off a front line for a little while. And for 50 bucks to possibly shut down your opponent's back line for 5-10 seconds might be worthwhile. Darwin also realizes that Rhino is going to get countered. There's no reason to keep it there. He eats the Rhino. He replays his units. He needs something that shoots up. Unfortunately, his best answers to the Phoenix are probably Snipers or Mustang, and those units are a little countered right now. Not hard countered, but as more and more Stormcallers come on the field, Snipers just don't do as well. Wow, level 3 steel balls coming out here for Hawk. Man, those level 3 steel balls are going to be aggressive. Crawlers in the backline, though, will be supporting. They won't get through a level 3 steel ball, that's for sure. But at least they'll distract them for a moment. Man, these level 3 steel balls are going to be so hard to chew through. You know why they're super important here? Because the Mustang want to shoot the Phoenix. But if they're tagged out by these level 3 steel balls, if they start shooting these level 3 steel balls first, they're almost never going to have enough time to chew through them. And of course, the steel balls can kill the Mustang in return. Yeah, I think that this is a great play here by Hawk. Hawk is playing very proactively, and that's what we're all about. Crawlers are going to try and run, but they're not going to make it. In fact, Hawk thinks it's going to be the last round of the game, so he opts to burn the Midnight Oil. A wise decision. Out go all of the missiles. There goes the half, maybe a fourth of the anti-air. Little crawler threat is doing quite good, though. It's delaying a lot of these units, but this is why I didn't really like the fire. These Mustang might drive into the fire if they're unlucky and die. Ooh, they're going to stop right in front of it and stop in front of Stormcaller shots, unfortunately. Absolutely decimated. Yeah, this is going to be an absolute trouncing here by Hawk. Darwin is an amazing player, though, so please don't, think poorly of him. He has played extremely well. I think I played 2 or 3 games against him, and I think he beat me in 2 or 3 games. So don't think lowly of him. It's just hard. This game is hard. It's very easy to get kind of caught out and decimated. So good plays to both players. I wish Hawk the best of luck in the tournament, and we will see you in the next round. All right, on to the next round. We have Ruby versus Bansheesfail. Let's see if what they pick up, actually. I would be very tempted by this aerial specialist. And honestly, I love the aerial specialist, especially in the early game. But this supply specialist is way too strong. No, they do go with the aerial specialist. Good. Pick up a unit of Phoenix early with the aerial specialist. And you have yourself quite the hand here. Units that shoot up, units that shoot down, flying units, tanks. Man, that would be absolutely incredible. Now, of course, Bansheesfail would suffer from not having any chaff units, but you can always fill that in later. Maybe better to grab the 2 units of crawlers early, but in this case, chaff isn't really what he needs. He needs something that can deal with these arc lights. And you know what? Having some Phoenix would just absolutely kill here. Unfortunately, Ruby is not in a great spot. Instead, Bansheesfail opts for Wasps. Wasps in the early game, we don't normally see that. He does have the jump drive, elite marksman, ground specialization, and range. Okay, Banshee's kind of set these Wasps up to be his main killers. Doesn't actually play them yet. Instead, he holds the hand a little close. I do like this. So what can happen if you play the Wasps too early? You force your opponent to pick up something that deals with them. In most cases, that's going to be Mustang. And Mustang are just good units. You don't want to force your opponent to be picking up good units because those Mustang can counter a lot of things. It's 3 snipers and 3 tanks versus 2 tanks, 3 arc lights, and 2 snipers. I unfortunately think Bansheesfail, not unfortunately, but I do believe Bansheesfail will win this. He just has a little bit more single point damage, and in this case, that's going to be the deciding factor. These arc lights are really not going to do much. Tanks are dropping very quickly here for Ruby, and that's going to be that. Oh my gosh, I love the collapse of these units. It might not go so well for him on the left. It really depends on how quickly that sniper shoots. It's not going to be able to claim the arc light before the sniper claims it, though. Ooh. Wow. Are we looking at a heavy armor specialist? Yes, we are. Ruby does have the heavy armor. You know what? That might actually make a big difference here. If we continue to see a lot of tanks and a lot of arc lights, this sniper will pick up the other. Yes, unfortunately, snipers will one-shot each other even with a 17% HP increase. Both players kind of playing non-conventional units here, or specialists. I do like the nano repair kit. This could be very useful for Banshee just because it does work very well on something like an Overlord. Ruby opts for the marksman. Okay. Oh, and a Rhino comes out. What is Banshee doing? He instead opts for both the attack and health increase. Interesting. Okay. Ruby grabs 3 more snipers. These snipers are going to be extremely useful. I don't know why Banshee grabbed both of these tech upgrades early. I would not recommend that you grab these upgrades too early, just because that's 50% of his cash was just spent on those upgrades, and that might be a little bit too much. This missile is extremely well placed here, and this game is definitely going to go in the way of Ruby, or I should say this round. The mass amount of snipers is really going to make the difference here. Not only that, the missile is pretty well placed. These snipers are going to be leveling up not super quickly. Even though he has the 75% increase on their XP rate, because there's so many of them, they're going to be sharing that XP across the field with several snipers. Let's hope that this sniper here gets the kill. It does. That will earn it a level. This guy does not quite have the level. Yeah, Banshee playing an interesting game here. Definitely want to see upgraded snipers for both players, but ooh, the smoke is great. Absolutely love the smoke. It really does make a difference. Steel balls aren't very useful at this point. There's quite a few snipers, and there's likely to be more snipers as the game continues. And unfortunately, Banshee's kind of, opting to eat his tanks. Okay. Banshee's not in the best spot, at least in my mind, just because There are so many snipers on the field. Opting for a level 2 Rhino. This Rhino will be shot to death very quickly by the snipers. We'll see if he can make it work. If these snipers had range, that would make a big difference. No, opts for some Wasps. Wasps will melt pretty darn quickly against the sniper aggression. Oh, but there's only 2 level 2 snipers here. Ah, this will shut it down. Crawlers. You know what is a great way to delay the enemy is crawlers. We'll see. This is actually shaping up to be a much more interesting game. At least we don't see a million units of Stormcallers. I like this crawler aggression, though. It's going to work out very well. Do we see a crawler on the flank? We do. There's nothing here to stop these crawlers. This sniper's going to get distracted. The tanks are even going to turn around. That will shut down the crawlers. Out go the smoke. Let's see if this Rhino can ever make it in. It's got the health. It's healing up. I don't think it will die here, and especially as it starts to take some of this DPS off the field. Yeah, this Rhino's going to do exceedingly well for itself. The re-engagement of the tanks will help get rid of this crawler aggression. Down goes the tower. Let's see if the tanks can make it in on time. The shield might even drop. That would be really unfortunate. Level 2 sniper's really going to make a difference here, cleaning up these tanks very quickly for both players. Wow, the Rhino at full HP. Very well done. Very, very well done. And unfortunately, the smoke does work against old Ruby a little bit as his tanks moved into it. The smoke is a double-edged sword. Any of those things, smoke, oil, anything that lasts a couple of turns can be good and bad. Even the acid. Redeployment versus the multiple drop deployment specialist. I do like redeployment. I think it's one of the best but least utilized cards in the game. Being able to move this Rhino around is so incredibly good. And you know what's also very important is he has the detonation on the Rhino. He could grab Final Blitz and just push this Rhino right into the tower. Now, Banshee would also greatly benefit from a couple of units of Stormcallers. In fact, both players would. Where are these Wasps going? I saw him deploy another unit of Wasps. Okay, they're just in the back line. They'll kill off those crawlers pretty quickly. And you know what? Having a few Wasps on the field is not bad. They are going to be shot down very quickly by these Mustang, though. Very, very quickly. In fact, they have 340 HP. And honestly, it's because of this range increase. I'm kind of considering... Yeah, no, the Mustang will shoot them down before they even land a shot. Oh well. Poor little guys. They will definitely not make it in. He does try and push the Rhino through. The Rhino does not have the Final Blitz, though. Without that detonation, I don't think it will do much here. Wasps on the flanks absolutely destroyed these Mustang, really just giving him the business. Let's see if the extra DPS from the Mustang are enough to take out that Rhino. I don't think so, as I'm pretty sure the Rhino will slap that tank. Oh, it's slow, though. That health, will it be enough? It's got just enough health, I think, to get in there and give the old tower a kiss. Yep, and that should save it. Wow, these Wasps even Tokyo drifting around, doing a great job on the right side as well. Now, a lot of players kind of sleep on Wasps. We don't see them too much until we get maybe to round 6 or 7, but having a few units of Wasps is just great because it gives the snipers extra things to shoot at, and it makes it difficult for your Mustang to prioritize units, especially, this is kind of a weird comp, but tanks, Wasps, and Stormcallers pair really well with each other, especially if you get a couple of high-level tanks that are moving and cruising with the mechanical rage. They can kind of keep up with the Wasps. They're still a little slower. Giant Specialist coming out here for Banshee. Giant Hunter, even. I wonder why. There aren't any Giants on the field. Kind of a weird pickup. I guess it's just hedging his bets against a Giant. I don't think there'll be a Giant anytime soon, though. Ruby could go with the Orbital Javelin. I just kind of want to see what Banshee is doing. It looks like he's just moving the sniper around a little bit, and he opted to... Oh my gosh, another Rhino. And this Rhino with the armor plating is going to be incredible. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get gunned down by the amount of snipers that are likely to appear here on the left. But having that extra armor plating, 20% more HP, and it will block the majority of the damage coming out from these smaller units. Well, not the majority. Honestly, it's only going to work against this Mustang. But hey, 20% HP is great with the Nano Repair Kit. I would like to see a missile here. A missile from Banshee would do exceedingly well. Or even backing these units up, maybe with another sniper or some Stormcallers. Just to get in there and pound these units would be great. It's really interesting that Banshee's starting to pull this back with only 4 units. And that's why having a flying unit is quite good, because that means that Ruby has had to spend an extra $50 just unlocking units. Let's see if the Rhino can make it in again. I wouldn't think so. But these Wasps are now able to get in on the Mustang and start clearing them up. Missile is extremely well placed. Here comes the background. Background Rhino is actually saving the front Rhino quite a bit of HP. I don't think this Rhino will be able to get it. No, the extra missile does seal the deal there, but at the cost of these units here on the right. Oh, and it looks like there was another Rhino in the back line. I did not catch that. My apologies. I don't think this will go the way of Banshee anymore. Rhinos are pretty much hard countered by a critical mass of snipers. And I would say that there's a critical mass of snipers at this point. There needs to be something that is just hammering away at these snipers in the back line. And I do think either getting some tanks to roll in with it would do very well for old Banshee, or grabbing some Stormcallers. Having some Stormcallers there just pounding away at these centralized bricks of units would be incredibly good. Also, it would just get rid of these shields. Speed Specialist for Banshee, that is incredibly important. Absolutely incredible. That extra 3 speed is going to be very dangerous. Ruby realizes it, and I think he's going to play the Photon Emission here. This little Rhino did not go far, mostly because of these snipers. Photon coating would be good, but honestly, the final blitz would be more important. These units could final blitz right in there. It would sacrifice the Wasps, but the Wasps can dance. Get the Wasps out of there. Put them over here on these flanks. Wasps do have the attack increase to ground units. It looks like some crawlers and another Rhino is going to be coming out here. This is a lot of Rhino aggression. Unfortunately, the best way to answer a whole bunch of Rhinos is just with some snipers and chaff. And wow, these Fang work exceedingly well at delaying Rhino aggression. Like, exceedingly well. Because it will take 2 swipes of the Rhino, this would work very, very well. And you know what Fangs with shield also block? Are missiles. Oh, another unit of Wasps just to peel through this. That might work a little bit more to his favor. Ruby does not have enough money for shields or missiles this turn. We'll see if the Rhino aggression is enough. We shall see, we shall see. These crawlers are still getting sacrificed in the back line. I'm a big proponent of getting rid of units if they're just constantly dying, just so that you're not feeding the enemy XP. Little Wasps are doing a great job at clearing out Fang, and I think this Rhino might make it in. It's gonna be tight. He gets a sniper. Oh, it doesn't make it. It does not make it, ladies and gentlemen. But these Wasps still might get the tower. They're being pushed in. They're taking out snipers. Wow, the right and the left have fallen. This little Rhino in the back line able to just delay a ton of units. In fact, these 2 level 2 snipers were not able to put it down quick enough. Wow. What great aggression here by the Wasps and by the Rhinos. Man, Banshee is playing like a Banshee. Just one of the Furies straight out of hell come to grab Ruby's soul. And for the first time, Banshee is ahead on HP. Oh my gosh. Wow. These are all great. I love the electromagnetic impact here, especially for Banshee, because a lot of these units are very close. Instead, what did we see here? Junior Manufacturing, makes sense. He doesn't want to play any Giants. And Shield Specialist. Okay. Smoke comes back out. There's the electromagnetic impact. It's very important that Banshee actually shields these units. Also, what would be great about shielding these units is that shield would most likely persist. Just because the amount of damage is moving forward, placing a shield on your front line when you have extremely aggressive units is great, because it might absorb 20-30% of that damage before your units move out of the shield, giving them quite a bit more HP, but also it would persist. So every single round it absorbs that 20 or 30% of its health damage, maybe 10,000 damage. Very, very useful. Not only that, it protects you against things like the missiles. Photon coating coming out for these Rhinos. It's just going to make them significantly more tanky. It's going to be rough. It's going to be very rough. How does Ruby answer it? I see what looks to be a growing number of Mustang and snipers. Should work out very well here just to keep these wasps under control as well as deal with the rhinos. We'll find out though. Man, and these wasps are just going to keep leveling as they continue to clear up units. Wow, Banshee even burned the midnight oil. Rapid resupply. Let's see how it works. Out comes a ton of Mustang, level 2 Mustang. You know what? This is a great play. Those level 2 Mustang are going to be very easily deal with the enemy Mustang. Rhino gets in. Man, that photon-coated Rhino really made a difference, and this guy's going to be able to deal a lot of damage now. And these Mustang, with the splash damage, able to clear up the chaff very quickly. Wow, Banshee is playing like a Banshee. Really, really well played here. Oh my gosh. All right, man, I feel kind of bad for Ruby. This is very difficult to deal with. Does he have the possibility of grabbing electronic shots? Oh, he's dead. Never mind. GG. If you want to play super aggressive, take a look at Bansheesfail. Really, really great players. And Ruby did exceedingly well there. It's just hard to deal with that aggression. It takes a few turns to come online against it, or you have to cancel it out very quickly. If you guys have been enjoying, please like and subscribe. I will see you in the next round. Gee Louise. Welcome. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Wow, quick choices here. We have Surrey versus Thorns. Thorns has some Fang and Stormcallers, one of the best openers in my opinion. Fang are just great because then you can transition into the all Fang gameplay. Stormcallers are great because they're a little oppressive. And Surrey, what does Surrey actually have here? Surrey is a giant specialist. Thorns is a speed specialist. Ooh. And you know what? Having these Fang actually boogie is quite good. 9 meters per second. That is very, very powerful. Surrey, giant specialist, has what looks to be purchased crawlers, a couple more Fang, and some tanks. These Fang are very close to the front line. They will be unsupported throughout the majority of this, but importantly, we'll brick up these crawlers so that the Stormcallers can just absolutely annihilate them. Here comes a couple of arc lights. Where's he going to put them? Arc lights coming out for Thorns, but right in the center. Okay, good enough. We have a pseudo headbutt setting up here for Surrey. These tanks are going to get in on these Stormcallers very, very quickly. That is unfortunate. Luckily, this arc light is here in support. It will be able to clean up a lot of these, but I don't think that these arc lights these Stormcallers are long for this world. The arc light is a little bit too far away. Stormcallers get a good launch off and take a tank for their troubles, but that's about it. The tower will drop. I don't see this going very well here for old Thorns. The headbutt was just a little too powerful. Those tanks in support really make a big difference. Arc lights may be able to clean up a few of these crawlers, probably get the rest of these Fang, but that will be that. Wow, the Stormcaller actually opting to go after the tanks. Not a bad choice, as those tanks are actually worth a little bit more points than a couple of crawlers. Let's see if he gets another one. He does get 2 more. Okay, not bad for Thorns. It's hard to win an initial headbutt, especially if the opponent didn't really have a very good army for it. I would not have built this as a very good headbutt army, but you know, it kind of worked out. Subsidized Stormcallers would be amazing here for Thorns. I also just really love the redeployment. What he could do is just grab a couple of these Fang that are not really needed, place them here. Yes, they'll die to the tanks, but the tanks will at least stop to shoot them. Yes, Thorns does grab the redeployment and opts to eat the Stormcallers. He doesn't need Stormcallers. What he needs is Rhino. Rhino in the backline. Oh no! And an Overlord coming out here for Surrey. We are seeing some madhouse games. Wow, and I like the Tokyo Drifting Overlord. That's kind of fun. Well, these Fang have suddenly become much more important. Eventually, with enough Fang, with enough level 1 Fang, you can bring down an Overlord, but it is very unlikely. Thorn still has $100 left. Will he grab the armor or the attack enhancement? No, he sits on the 100. Probably for the best here. This Rhino is going to come in here. It's going to absorb a ton of damage. Wow, every single Stormcaller shot missed. Maybe just kissing, but that is not good enough. If all of these Fang die, this Overlord will reign supreme. Let's see if it turns and takes out the Rhino. Oh no, these little Fang. Oh, they're so important. Yep, they're all dead. Okay, well, the Overlord will win this here for Surrey. And Surrey's going to win by a significant portion, actually, just because most likely these Fang will survive as well. And that's just an extra, what, 100 damage? Pretty good. If you guys didn't know how unit damage is normally calculated, besides giants, it's the cost of the unit divided by the number of units within, or the amount of units within the unit. I guess the amount of entities within the unit is a better way of saying that. So giants deal 400 because they cost 400. Fang would deal 100 damage spread across the number of Fang entities within the unit. There you go. Now you know. I wonder how they did that with tanks. Well, I guess 200 divided by 5. It's kind of a weird one. Thorns does grab laser sights. He's going to need it. He's going to need something to shoot back. Man, heavy hackers for Surrey would be great. You know what? Just pop a heavy hacker here right behind these Fang and start cleaning off these Rhino. Rhino does move. Hidden Rhino, jumping dragon. Wow, and the laser sight on this melting point is going to do great. See, the problem with having your Overlord this close to the line is nothing will fit here. So this melting point can sit in the back line, still put things in front of it to keep it safe, and it's going to be easily able to melt off this unit. Shield's coming down. This is going to support these little Fang for a little while. Honestly, no, I'd put the melting point back. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out, we'll find out. Surrey does not have a lot of cash, but he's still sitting on $350. What did he just munch there? A unit of tanks. Yes, he's probably going to need to deploy something in the back line to try and defeat what he believes is a Rhino still there. Unfortunately, Thorns has the redeployment, and this is why it's so important to have the redeployment, or at least why I love it so much, is because now Surrey has to guess, is the Rhino still sitting there? And in this case, we know it's not, but he doesn't know that. So he might position this Overlord over here on the left flank, and there's just no Rhino to deal with it. No, does he? Where does he put the Overlord? Oh no, he's put it over here on the left. It probably wouldn't have gone after the Rhino, but it actually is doing quite well because it would split that difference. This is good positioning here by Surrey, actually, just because it means that he could kind of cover if the Rhino was still there. Not perfectly, but also he has the ability then to support if the Rhino isn't. Unfortunately, the Rhino did move. It will clear off these Fang very quickly. Ooh, little melting point. Will it melt the Overlord in time? I don't think so. These crawlers in the backline did a phenomenal job. Oh, he does get it, but unfortunately, that's that. This Rhino took a little bit too long. It's unupgraded. If that Rhino had the Whirlwind, or as I like to call it, the Whirly-Durlies, it would have done much, or it would have just gotten in there a lot quicker, or if there was the Strike Specialist on the field. If you're playing this aggressive kind of hidden Rhino or flank maneuvers, you kind of got to upgrade the Rhinos a little bit, just because they take too long to kill units like Fang, units like crawlers otherwise. Rhino will get in here, get a few more kills, but that should be that. It's interesting that the Rhino's actually able to dodge under a lot of these Overlord shots, but that will be that. This Overlord has not earned a level yet. It must be getting close. Thorns is playing very well. I do want to mention that. He's playing very well because he has to deal with this aggression. Man, intensive training is good. Intensive training is so good. Thorns agrees with me. He loves intensive training. I think that is the right play. Did he just scrap the Rhino? No. What did he scrap? Something. Another Rhino in the back line. It's an expensive answer to just a unit of crawlers. Maybe a unit of Fang would have done well enough. Okay. Or even an Arclight. Melting Point will get on this Overlord early. If he could, I would swap this Melting Point. There's another Arclight. Arclight in the backline probably going to be the play here. Did the Rhino get scrapped? Yes, the Rhino in the backline got scrapped. There's only one Rhino left. Where did he position that Arclight? Right near the center. Oof, that's going to be rough. That's going to be really rough. Oh well. Let's see if these crawlers can make it in and deal the damage that they need to deal. This Melting Point is basically forfeit. Its life, or sorry, this Arclight is basically forfeit. And there's nothing here in the backline. I'd love to see these Fang get an increase. The enemy Fang are going to be absolutely crushing it. And Surrey can't afford to upgrade his units because he's winning. Let's see. A lot of money went into this level 2 Melting Point. Here come the crawlers. Oh no, they're not crawlers. They're upgraded Fang. Even worse. You don't want to see a lot of upgraded Fang. Crawlers are going to make it in. Is it too too early, though. We'll find out. It may be a little too early. Melting points do have just a little bit of splash damage. Let's see. There isn't really anything to clear away these crawlers, though. Let's see if this melting point can kill the tower in time to get back online with the Overlord. If he can claim the Overlord, this Rhino should be able to do all the damage that needs to be done. Oh, there goes the tower. Little melting point. You've got to melt. He's going to be on the Overlord, and it looks like he'll do it just quick enough. Fantastic. Okay. This is most likely a win here for Thorns. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not. Man, those Fang are so good. So good. This melting point has a ton of HP. It's eating through the DPS slowly. Oh my, it might make it happen. It might. It does not. Thorns loses by just an inch, and he's got to be considering his flanks now. He's left his flanks completely open. These senior manufacturing for both players, yeah, you have to protect your flanks, and just continually buying melting point is not really the answer here. He needs something that actually deals with chaff. Grab some more arc lights and give them range. That way you can just eat through all of these units very quickly. Wow, we see melting points with range coming down here for Surrey. Why? Because they're just going to kill the enemy melting points very quickly. Thorns is opting to play 3 units. I hope it's another arc light. No, it's another melting point. He needs to give them some kind of upgrade at this point. Either range or the electromagnetic barrage would do quite well. Instead, it's crawlers. You know, with 4 melting points, each dropping 10 crawlers, that's 40 crawlers every 30 seconds. I didn't check the time on the last battle, but if the battle lasts 2 minutes, that's a few extra units of crawlers. And honestly, the crawlers could do a lot here, both delaying the likelihood of these units pushing in quickly, as well as delaying melting point shots coming back on. He's got another 10-15 seconds before he can deploy some more crawlers. He's going to need them. He's really going to need them. 1 melting point will drop before it deploys the extra crawlers. Unfortunately, I believe that was the level 2 melting point. Here comes some more crawlers. Ooh, they need to come out. He does get an extra 30 crawlers. That's a huge extra increase in units. That's great. These crawlers are actually pulling a lot of damage. Both melting points will need to come online to finish off this guy with range, but honestly, the longer this battle lasts, the better. Let's see if he can get a 3rd wave. Most likely he will. That's great. That's what? He got 3-ish units of crawlers out, maybe? That's not bad. Or 3 spawns of crawlers, I should say. Wow, and a good amount of damage going back at Surrey. Now, it looks like Thorns has been losing a lot, but it's worth noting he spawned with a lot of extra HP, so he can take those losses. Smoke bomb coming out for both players. Okay, makes sense. Huge levels coming in for the melting points. Unfortunately, if you level all your melting points, you're out of money. And that's rough. And also, it's worth noting that these crawlers always come out as level 1. That's kind of not what you want. Wow, a lot of melting points. Is this just melting points for days? They definitely need range. If he wants to kill the enemy melting points, he's going to need range to take care of it. No range. Opting for a shield. That shield won't really do much, as melting points will very quickly eat through shields. Oh, we have some fortresses with an interesting upgrade. The Fang summon. It's a little bit more Fang, and they come out a little bit quicker. That could be worthwhile. Some more crawlers, and let's see if he starts to upgrade the crawlers along with having these melting point spawn crawlers. That could make a difference. There isn't really good wave clear yet on the field for Surrey. If Surrey was to grab some arc lights of his own, that could make a big difference, but I don't think he will. Here it comes, here it comes. I'm really interested to see how this goes. Unfortunately, the fortresses are pretty much hard countered by the amount of melting points on the field, and these melting points are going to have to get in very close. That's not what you want to see. These level 3 crawlers are doing a great job at getting in there and dealing a lot of damage. 1 melting point is already down, but it will take both fortresses fall very quickly in the center. Man, this is a really weird one. Down goes the tower, and that's going to cost old Thorns a lot of damage. I don't know why I said Thomas. Overlords are both down, and this melting point is in range. Both melting points are in range to kill each other, but the spawning of the crawlers is really, really powerful. All right, it's going to be 3 melting points versus what looks to be a couple of fortresses and Fang that are just going the wrong way. Man, those level 3 crawlers really made a difference. And out come some more crawlers here, just adding a little bit more insult to injury. That's a lot of extra damage. All right, clean it up. Mass melting point. Who would have guessed? Not something that you see very often. I kind of want to try this now. That would be a lot of fun. Super heavy armor would be great for both players, along with the orbital javelin. Honestly, wasps are kind of fun too. Yeah, wasps in the backline of either of these players would be pretty bad for both of them. Thorns does opt for the orbital javelin. He's got his choice of giants to try and kill with it. Unfortunately, these melting points will have enough HP. He's gonna opt to try and get the 3-fer. He'll most likely hit 2. That's worthwhile. More crawlers. The crawlers do have the subterranean blitz now. It means they'll still suffer at the hands of enemy crawlers. And I would like him to play just 1 unit of Arclight right here. Just pop an Arclight right here to get rid of these level 3 crawlers. They have just been devastating his lines. No, instead it's more melting points. Wow. Just a ton of melting points. Give him range. Opts instead for the mobile beacon. He's going to dance this melting point away. Okay. Not bad. He's at $250. Surrey's still at $650. Opts to play a 3rd unit. And it looks like it's another unit of Fang. Not bad. And another unit of Fortress. Okay. Okay. The smoke here is actually very important. And this isn't a played melting point. This is a redeployed melting point. So what's going to happen is this melting point will come online, kill this guy off very quickly. And he should be good to go. Missile here just to deal with these crawlers. I don't know what happened to the Arclight. Maybe he moved it over to here? He has not. Instead, just playing some missiles. Blammo! Both missiles really hate that guy. And he does get the 3-fer. Wow! That is totally worth it. Great play there by Thorns. In fact, these melting points do a great job. And it looked like we did see those wasps come out in the backline. Just a delay. There is not a lot of chaff here on the left. Man, an extra Arclight or 2 would be phenomenal here. Just to kill off all of these little Fang. It's not going to be enough, though, as there's still 5 melting points on the field. And these melting points are all... Oh, actually, the Fang get one. Well, 4 melting points spawning crawlers. Will it be enough crawlers? I hope so. Maybe not, though. You know what's great about these Fang is that they're vicious. They're absolutely vicious. Down goes the tower, though, and these melting points do have a lot of HP. I don't think the Fang will ever be able to chew through them. It looks like more crawlers come out. Just, ooh, one melting point does drop. Is it enough to kill him? No. Surrey's got 1 more round in him. That's about it. Thorns has a ton of cash now. Both players have a ton of cash. Enhancement module coming out for Thorns. That makes sense. He has a lot of giants to heal. Man, if Surrey can win this round... No, he doesn't pick it. That's a fool's hope. But what you can do is just bet on a fool's hope. If you could win the round with the Giant Hunter, man, that would be great. But both players, I think, realize, yeah, this is kind of the end of the game here. So probably worth just going for the kill. Where did that enhancement module come out? On the level 5 melting point. That melting point could become level 6 for free. It's pretty darn strong. And this is why I love having that leveling ability. Fortresses grab shields. Unfortunately, the shielded fortresses will die very quickly to these melting points, especially because they have the electromagnetic barrage that will just deal with shields extremely well. Not only that, canceling out enemy tech. That's going to hurt. This melting point is kind of alone and afraid, though. He does have a little bit of support in the form of these crawlers. Hopefully it's enough. Hopefully it's enough. What's the range on the electromagnetic barrage? 180 meters. Okay, it's significant. So this is 130 meters. This is 170. It's like right to this back line of Fang. All right, so all of these units will suffer from the electromagnetic barrages, and this is a lot of them. All of these units should be hit. Out they go. Pew, pew, pew. Quite a few miss going after Fang that are already dead, but down go pretty much the majority of the shields. Yeah, those did not last long. It comes down to whether or not there's enough Fang and enough crawler support. Bam, out goes some more electromagnetic barrages. Just canceling out those shields is very important and slowing down the Fang. Man, melting points are only killing Fang currently, though. Oh, there goes a fortress. I think there needs to be some arc lights here to support these melting points as they are all dropping. Oh my gosh. Is Thorns dead? That's a lot of giant units. I see, what, 6 giant units left on the field? I think Thorns might be dead here. Oh my gosh, what a turnaround. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes! The game goes to Surrey in the game of giants. Actually having a few different kinds of giants really makes a difference. And I think what really hurt Thorns there is just not having enough wave clear. A couple of Stormcallers or even a couple of ranged arc lights would really have gone well for him. Those melting points just kept shooting at Fang. And that's exactly why we kept seeing Surrey play more and more Fang. Anyways, we will see you guys in the next round. I believe we're moving into the semifinals here. It is Forgotten Arbiter versus our player in red. Now this could... Forgotten Arbiter might be our red player as the game actually starts up. For some reason, they tend to flip-flop. We have Quick Supply Specialist actually coming out here for Forgotten Arbiter, and I have a feeling he's going to go with a Headbutt. This is a great setup for a Headbutt. The Quick Supply Specialist would give him access to something like Phoenix or Wasps as well. The counter to this is not really on the field here. Oh, we've seen this player many times, or at least we've seen this avatar, and it does turn out to be our blue player. Steel Balls and Fang versus Steel Balls and Crawlers. Oh, and it doesn't look like Forgotten Arbiter is going to go with the Headbutt. In fact, he grabbed the Quick Supply Specialist with not a whole lot of HP. That's going to be rough. I think that the blue player here does have a pretty good answer to this, and instead opts for some Mustang. Okay. Steel Ball, Mustang, Crawlers. Very fast, very aggressive. The Steel Balls will deal with the other Steel Balls, and these Mustang will make a good showing for themselves against these Fang. Really good setup here for Forgotten Arbiter. He's going to be playing very aggressive build. Now, the answer to this does take a little while to come online, normally in the form of Phoenix and Vulcan, but that's very expensive to get going. And that's one of the reasons why the Steel Ball Mustang is quite powerful, because it's cheap to really get going. It answers a lot. It does well with flyers, it does well with chaff, and it does well with single entities. So that's why we see a lot of it currently. And again, it's inexpensive to do. The upgrades on both Steel Balls and Mustang are really game-changing, especially the range. If you can get the range on both of these, all of a sudden you're sitting pretty. Let's see if our blue player is able to make it work. It looks like Arbiter also got another unit of Crawlers. Not a bad choice, and saving the $50 in case there is a very good upgrade is always worthwhile. Oh, wow, did you see that Steel Ball just kind of have a nervous tick? For some reason, he just flipped around and looked the wrong way. That's kind of fun. I do think this will go the way of Forgotten Arbiter on both the left and right. Of course, being Quick Supply Specialist is very powerful. Just being able to play out a few extra units is great there, and those Crawlers will just decimate units of Fang. Of course, Mustang will as well. I don't think a unit of Fang even stands a chance against a unit of Steel Balls. They aren't the worst counter to Steel Balls as they continue to get stronger, just because the Fang, if they are all shooting at one Steel Ball at once, actually do a significant amount of damage, and this is a lot of damage coming out on our blue player. Forgotten Arbiter almost brings the game back together. Let's take a look-see. Ooh, heavy armor or the training. Man, that's tough. I would be tempted to go with the training just because you're very likely to use the training 3 or 4 times. Missile is fun because it's free, and our blue player might pick the missile just because they want to be able to take care of a few of these units. Both players taking a moment to actually consider this. These are all pretty good. I don't rate the deployment module very highly. Just because it attaches to the unit, it fills up the one equipment slot that you have. I don't love that. And our blue player does go with the missile strike. It will kill off, it won't kill off these Steel Balls, but it will kill off the Mustang. Forgotten Arbiter really has a tough choice here. Oh, and an Overlord comes out for our blue player as well. That's why you saved that extra $100. It will take a little while, but the Overlord will stand very strong against Mustang, at least in the first couple of rounds. After the Mustangs earn some levels, and especially once they get the aerial specialization, it won't end very well. And Forgotten Arbiter does opt for the armor. Man, these little steel balls are going to survive for a long time, and he doesn't realize it, but having another unit of Mustang on this flank is going to be incredibly important. Unlocks Fang as well. He might opt to deploy a couple of Fang in the foreground. Ooh, here comes the missile. Boop. Down go the Mustang. Barely scratching those steel balls, though. Steel balls with the extra HP will be able to survive a couple of Overlord shots. That's going to be very important. Unfortunately, these Mustang are going to get in here, clear off these Fang very, very quickly. And with the Fang all dropping, all of a sudden, these Mustang might be able to... Oh, no, there's still two steel balls. I don't know if this Overlord will be enough. One steel ball left might be enough to do some significant damage here. We shall see. These steel balls will earn themselves a level, most likely, if they kill the tower. The crawlers are the ones who killed the tower. Okay. That's not something you see too often. The re-engagement here might not go as well as you would think, though. Unfortunately, losing the tower first is actually bad. You want your tower to go down second, just because these units will most likely come online just in enough time to kill off the tower. Oh, but that seals the deal. Man, this Overlord knew what to shoot, and in one barrage takes out basically an entire unit of Mustang. Well done. Well done indeed. So the reason I said it's normally better to lose your tower first is because of the travel time. The travel time can actually be long enough for your opponent to come back online just to kill your tower in the background. But in this case, it worked out just well enough. Ooh, subsidized Mustang. That is definitely not what our blue player wanted to see here. It means there's going to be a lot more Mustang on the field, most likely with the aerial spec, just so that they outrange the Overlord and they can bring it down quickly. I have a feeling that that Nano is going to go onto this Overlord. There's a lot of Mustang. A lot of Mustang, and Forgotten Arbiter has enough cash to get the aerial specialization. If he chooses to do so, these Overlords might not stand much of a chance. They already have reduced range because of the high explosive ammo. That high explosive ammo is very good. Very, very good, especially for taking out lots of units of chaff. It is kind of the answer to Mustang. It's not the perfect answer, but it's kind of the answer to Mustang. I think Forgotten Arbiter is debating about just pure range or aerial spec. Both are good. Pure range is great to get rid of things like this. Okay, I was going to say this Arclight is alone and afraid, but it would do quite well about... Pure range is good just because then the Mustang do slightly outrange the Overlords. So at least they won't get in range of those high explosive shots. Of course, then pairing that with the aerial specialization gives your Mustang a huge amount of range. Absolutely incredible amount of range. Down goes this Arclight before it even gets a couple of shots off. And now it's all up to the Mustang. Can they chew through these units quick enough to get onto the Overlord? It's not looking great. These steel balls are dropping pretty quickly. Bam, the high explosive ammo is really important. Oh, it's a DPS race, and I think the Mustang are going to win it. Mustang tend to win DPS races, especially if the Overlord shoots at the lone Mustang instead of a huge group there on the right. Will we see Overlord Vulcan? Overlord Vulcan could be a possibility. Our blue player picks up the Amp Core. Forgotten Arbiter might be tempted by it, but honestly, the Senior Attack Specialist just does more. 30% attack increase across your entire army is huge. All of a sudden, as these Mustang continue to level, they go from like 36 to 45 attack, and then they get the level, they suddenly are able to deal with these arc lights with the protective shielding. I'm not sure if Forgotten Arbiter will sniff it out, but he definitely needs some more steel balls to keep this rolling. Because this is the answer. Just a bunch of arc lights with shielding will do very well here. Both players still sitting on a bit of cash. Arbiter hasn't even played out all of his units yet. Maybe even some snipers would be worthwhile at this point. Just to kind of complete it. Grab 2 snipers, then maybe give those snipers range next turn. Can also get those tech upgrades that are just so important. At this point in the game, it's kind of worth spending on the attack and defense enhancement because you have enough units that extra attack, that extra defense does make a little bit of a difference because it's scaled across so many units. But let's see what he does. Let us see what he does. Man, these steel balls could really use a level. Unfortunately, neither of these steel balls are able to level up yet. Instead, opting for some crawlers. Man, he doesn't know that there are just a ton of arc lights on the field, and these arc lights won't die to Mustang very quickly. There's another unit of Mustangs. Okay. They have to cut through a very healthy Overlord now. Let's see if he can make it work. Luckily, these crawlers will absorb some of the damage that this arc light will put out. The arc light just takes no damage, though. Absolutely none. It will survive this all day long. And I think that will be the end of this aggression here. Just because there's going to be way too many, or these arc lights are just going to soak all the damage. Yep. Man, this is going to be a lot of damage coming out on Forgotten Arbiter. A lot of damage. Luckily, these level 2 Mustang are able to kill one, but this arc light's earned itself a level. Next turn, these Mustang are going to do nothing. What did Arbiter pick up? He did pick up the Senior Attack Specialist. That will help a little bit, but it's still not enough to cut through the armor of these arc lights. There needs to be some steel balls here to deal with all of these arc lights, and that's a ton of damage. You can't spec too heavily into one unit. Having like 5 to 6 units that are all the same thing will hurt. Top Supply Specialist is pretty good. Orbital Javelin's also really good here. The Javelin could kill either of these Overlords. Let's see what Arbiter picks up. The skip here from our blue player, I can see why, but the photon emission is good. However, he can just pay $500 to get a photon emission that happens every turn. Might be worth it. Can Arbiter support the Top Supply Specialist? If the game lasts another 2 rounds, it's a worthy pickup. Honestly, play a couple of steel balls here to kind of get rid of some of these arc lights, and you'd be in a good spot. Ops instead for Phoenix. Ooh, I like this. Those Phoenix won't cut through the arc lights super quickly, but they will deal some damage, and more importantly, they'll also pull a storm, or a, I was going to say Stormcallers because I just saw them come out. They'll pull a Overlord shot. So if the Overlord shoots up, it's not shooting down at the majority of these Mustang. And I do like these Stormcallers in the center. Stormcallers in the center are going to do extremely well, and they're somewhat countered by the Phoenix, but they will be able just to obliterate a lot of these units. There's the missile. Where's he going to put it? Where's our blue player going to put the missile? Over here. I think a better choice, just because there's more units for him to catch with that. Ooh, Arbiter's scared. I'm not so scared, though. Those heavily ranged Phoenix are going to be great, mostly because they'll also be able to get in range of this Overlord. The little Phoenix go. They have a lot of shooting to do. One Phoenix does drop. Oh, will they? Yes, he gets the arc light even before a shot goes off. That's very important, as now there's a ton of Mustang in the front line. Let's see if they can clear everything out. Arclight was too busy killing crawlers. Oh no, that's a huge amount of Mustang left over. This level 2 steel ball is going to do very well for itself. And some crawlers get into the back line as well. Ooh, the explosive shot does not clear all of them. Down goes a tower, and that tower dropping will be very important. It needs to drop very quickly. It does. These Phoenix are on top of the Overlord very fast, and I think this was exactly the answer that Forgotten Arbiter needed. Well done. It's a small victory, but it's a victory. Now, it's important to note that Arbiter did burn the Midnight Oil. This rapid resupply was played just to try and pull him back into the game, because he really did need that range. Now he's going to be down several $100s. I wouldn't be surprised if both players pick up range, though. Yeah, the range is just so important. You really do need it. Without it, you're kind of in a rough spot. These Overlords actually have the Overlord launcher. Quite good, but now they're very short range. 112 range means that these ranged Phoenix are going to do extremely well against them. Let's see what goes down. Arbiter still has some money. He's upgraded both of his Phoenix and one of these Mustang. That's very important. These Mustang have to keep up with their levels. Oh, and our blue player, I think he just unlocked crawlers. I think he just needs a few, or I believe he thinks he needs a few things to just absorb some damage. That way these Overlords can deal enough damage. I don't know, though. I think that's kind of an iffy pickup. It might be worthwhile to grab just a bit more chaff clear. Here's the crawlers in the center. They won't last long, unfortunately. 93 damage on these Mustang that shoot very quickly, and they're supported by a lot of Mustang. We shall see. We shall see, we shall see. These steel balls have been crying out for a level. If they were to get that level, they would do very well, especially with the heavy armor. But They do not get it. Here comes the engagement. Let's watch it kind of from a top-down view. I don't like that as much. Missiles go out. They're not very good. This unfortunate arc light dies exceedingly quickly. Level 2 Mustang are cutting through the crawlers very quickly, but unfortunately, these steel balls just needed that level, and they don't have it. Oh no. Is the Overlord going to be the first thing targeted on the left? On the right, the Overlord's already down. That will last maybe another second. Oh no. And the Overlord is kind of shooting the wrong units here. The Mustang are important, don't get me wrong, but now the Mustang are taking the role of chaff killers instead of main anti-air. Good amount of damage. Forgotten Arbiter retakes the lead. Can our blue player make a comeback? Parasitic ammo coming out for Forgotten Arbiter. Ooh. So, what can happen is this front line is collapsing a lot. And the parasitic ammo works based off the unit that's killed. So if you kill a, I don't know, let's say you kill a fortress, you'll spawn a lot more crawlers than if you just kill a crawler. Parasitic ammo actually on the left. Both players opt for the parasitic ammo. Finally, the range increase on the Overlord, bringing them back to 152, but unfortunately these Phoenix are at 172. They're still going to outrange these Overlords by quite a bit. And unfortunately, getting these expensive upgrades on expensive units, man, this guy's killed 244 units. That's insane. It's just not super cost effective. All of the upgrades that Forgotten Arbiter is getting is across several units, 3 to 5 to 6 units. That really makes a huge difference. And our blue player offsets it by grabbing another Overlord. This thing's only level 1, though. That's not great. Forgotten Arbiter burns the oil again. He has a lot of cash in the bank, and he can still play out some more units. Oh, wow. Interestingly enough, plays a crawler right in the front line. These crawlers are definitely dead. But they're here to absorb the Stormcaller shots early. Okay. The Stormcallers will both shoot forward first, allowing these crawlers to make it in. Of course, these two crawlers are kind of unsupported and will die very quickly. Interesting choice here by Forgotten Arbiter. I wonder if it's worth it. We'll find out here momentarily. Out go the Stormcaller shots. Stormcaller shots miss. It allows the flanks to start getting in there very quickly. The shields hold for a second longer. It's not great, though. It is not great. Parasitic ammo is working to the favor of old Forgotten Arbiter here, as a lot of these units keep pausing to kill off crawlers that are spawning in. These Mustang in the back line are doing a great job. The center once again collapses. Now the Phoenix are on top of this very tough Overlord. Overlord drops. It was shooting down when it should have been shooting up, and I think this is going to go the way of Forgotten Arbiter in a big way. I don't know if it will be enough to kill our blue player, but it's going to be very close. Oh, very, very close. Oh, survives by 4 HP. He's got one more round left in him. 43 HP, or 4 HP. Forgotten Arbiter could make some really good plays here. The range, is it going to go on one of these Phoenix? If this guy gets range, he's just going to take out this Arclight very quickly. No, instead going on these level 3 Mustang. That's pretty nice. In fact, I'd like to see these Arclight, or these Mustang get armor-piercing bullets. Just because then they would be able to cut through the Overlords a little bit quicker. Not only that, they would melt the front lines even faster and be able to deal some damage back to these Arclights. But instead, you could also just give shields to your Phoenix or the respawn. Both would be useful. Arbiter is burning the money every single turn. Tons of shielding. These shields are pretty important to keep the Mustang up long enough to deal with the chaff. Let's see if this is answered by a missile. Ooh, very good missile in the back line. It will take out the Phoenix and the Mustang. These Mustang don't have a lot of HP. I don't know if the missile will land quick enough, though. It might. Alright, actually, it certainly will. Instead, the missile is deployed here on the right for our blue player. Arbiter can really lose one round. He can lose a round moderately. And what I mean by moderately is if he decimates the majority of the line and then loses, he has enough HP to deal with it. He's not in the danger zone. But the problem is that if Arbiter does lose, there's a few giant units on the field. And as the game continues to go on, the more of these Overlords and other giant units that spawn... Yeah, actually the missile didn't hit as well as I didn't think it would land very well there. You really have to position those missiles up. Blue player does deal a lot of damage. Unfortunately, this high explosive shot won't deal with steel balls very well, and I guess Arbiter could make a transition backwards, but man, does that decimate the lines of Mustangs there. Blam, just giving a ton of splash damage. It does look like it's enough, though, for the Phoenix to push through. Man, that is going to be GG. Great plays here by Forgotten Arbiter, eventually able to clean this all up. This poor little Overlord isn't even able to take out all of those crawlers from the parasitic ammo. That's why parasitic ammo is so powerful, especially against something like Stormcallers. Good plays by both players. We will see you in the next round. All right, our semifinals, Surrey versus Forgotten Arbiter. Forgotten Arbiter is featuring heavily in this tournament, mostly because in the Asian tournament there's a lot of names I cannot pronounce, so it is what it is. Surrey has been on the channel a lot recently as well, and we see a Rhino Specialist with the Crawler Sledgehammer. This will give him a spike in power, but he does not have a lot of HP. And against a player like Forgotten Arbiter, actually having a few extra HP points can make the difference between life and death, just because it gives you a little bit more time to react. Forgotten Arbiter does go with the Giant Specialist. Representing our red player, we see Fang and Steel Ball. Now, in the last game, Arbiter did not really play out too many Steel Balls, so I expect these two Steel Balls to be as they are for pretty much the entirety of the game. It looks like he's setting up for a bit of a headbutt here, or just a long line of the law, a good slap across the face. Let's see if Surrey can counter. Oh, and these tanks are in a great position just to eat up a lot of those crawlers, and, or sorry, a lot of those Fang, especially if they're supported by these crawlers. Oh no, I think both players are going for headbutts on the opposite side. Arbiter does grab a few more Fang. He's kind of just completed the line here, $100 extra in the bank. You can unlock a Giant early, so if I don't see a unit that I particularly want, in this case maybe I'd want a Sniper, but if I don't, or a Marksman even, if I don't see a unit that I just want a lot of, I might unlock a Giant just to have that unlock done. You know, what would work well here? Maybe an Overlord. So I might unlock the Overlord. That way next turn, I don't have to waste another unlock. Or I can unlock something that I actually need. In this case, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for both players because the aggression is going to happen on both flanks. Let's see. Wow, that's a lot of units over here on the right for Surrey. And unfortunately, these Steel Balls are going to get caught out shooting at these crawlers. Tanks are meanwhile going to be able to deal the damage that they need. These little Steel Balls are going to get distracted again. And this is what I was mentioning, that the Fang, if they do lock onto one Steel Ball, they can actually bring it down. Steel Ball on the right is going to die. It's not going to be able to take out these tanks. It might get one. It does get one. That's kind of worth noting. Tower's already dropping for both players. It looks like the tower will drop a little bit quicker here for Surrey. That's unfortunate, but he definitely is going to win this round. There's just not enough Steel Balls with support. I think that the headbutt was a little bit better here for Surrey, just because crawlers are better than Fang in the early game. I think Fang kind of grow. They have a bit of a glow up as they continue to earn levels and earn tech upgrades that just kind of make them a little bit better than crawlers in the long term. But Surrey needed that win. He's still a little bit less than 1,000 HP, 600 HP under where Forgotten Arbiter is. Ooh, Deployment Specialist is great for both players. Will the Wasps come in and deal with this? I don't know. Mass-produced Rhino, actually, for both players. Okay. The Rhinos aren't going to deal as well. Forgotten Arbiter does place his in the front. I will say that the Rhinos won't do as well for Surrey, just because there's already quite a few Steel Balls. And those Steel Balls are going to be very, very aggressive against the Rhinos. He's going to have to play these Rhinos somewhat defensively. Are they going to go in the flanks? Yes! Oh, wow! And Forgotten Arbiter sniffed it out. Opting to play a third Rhino. Wow! It's going to be Rhino Punch-Up. Unfortunately, I don't believe this right flank will go in the way of Forgotten Arbiter, even though he'll claim a Rhino for free. Still, with $100, he could make it work. Honestly, putting a missile here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, just because it might get a unit of tanks and a couple of crawlers. The speed of the crawlers is important, and also you can play the missile a little bit farther back. That way the travel time is long enough that hopefully these crawlers all kind of bunch up around the tanks and you get 3 units for the price of 1. You don't need to put your missile right on top of them. Maybe putting the missile like kind of on top of these Fang would be worthwhile. That would be my case. Forgotten Arbiter can also get the attack or the health increase, which would mean that his rhinos would beat the enemy rhinos pound for pound. He has the extra money. He's sitting on it. 7 seconds left. Opts to save the $100. Okay. Man, this rhino does not stand a lot of a chance though. Rhino on the right drops very quickly. Rhino on the left though has absolutely nothing to deal with it. Ooh, the steel ball does a good amount of damage. Not enough though. Will this rhino deflect? It does not. This isn't looking great. Oh, it does deflect. Okay, he'll save the Fang. And that means this tower will most likely fall as well. It's looking okay here for Forgotten Arbiter. Unfortunately, that rhino's going to drop at a really bad time. And so will the steel ball. There isn't really anything else that can deal with this tank and Fang aggression. Unless the rhino engages in a really good way, killing the tower, then coming in and clearing off all of these units while they're still slowed. It might happen, honestly. Here come the tanks. They have pretty good range. Oh, the rhino gets a few kills. Not enough, though. Not enough. Good plays here by Arbiter. He's just got to get something to deal with this aggression here. Either getting the whirlwind on the rhinos. Oh my god, there's the level 2 rhino. Power spike happens for Surrey. That's difficult. You don't want to have your opponent, who is the rhino specialist, be winning rounds and then compound that with a level 2 rhino. Arbiter opts, both players opt for the deployment module. Okay. Away goes the rhino for Surrey. Or does he put... Actually, he just chose to eat it. Oh, wow. And Arbiter's using the giant specialist to the best of his ability. A fortress here will do incredibly well. Unfortunately, there just isn't a lot of things that shoot up, and Surrey realizes it, so he grabs a unit of Phoenix, 2 units of Phoenix. This will do extremely well. Now, this fortress deals 6,000 damage a shot. Oh, it's just not... It is just quite enough to kill a tank in a single shot. All right. There's the level 2 rhino. Let's see if Arbiter opts to move this rhino. I don't think he will, and that will be his downfall. In fact, it doesn't look like he attaches anything. That's a shame. He's going to need some anti-air to deal with these Phoenix. Unfortunately, this kind of soft slap has not worked out against our Surrey here. It's because he has a much harder headbutt. Would you rather be slapped or, or headbutt? Definitely slapped in my case. These steel balls, if they were to get a level, would actually deal quite well. They'd be able to survive a lot more damage from the Phoenix, or quite a few more rounds from the Phoenix. Yes, he does upgrade them. Okay, that's going to be very important, as now they're going to come in, deal a little bit more damage to this rhino, and importantly, be able to survive a little bit longer. Man, this poor rhino just gets absolutely crippled. Down this guy goes very quickly to the steel balls. This level 2 steel ball might get the rhino. It does. Wow, 1 level 2 steel ball able to melt a rhino. Here comes the big boy though on the right. Level 2 rhino coming in. He will get stopped, at least initially. No, not long enough. There is not enough anti-air here to deal with these Phoenix. And there's enough crawlers to get in here and deal the damage that he needs. Oh no. Well, Arbiter has definitely met his match in the form of Surrey. Let's see if he can continue to kind of stop this aggression. Now, the fortress can get the anti-air barrage. It's very expensive, and it is not... I wouldn't say it's the best anti-air. I'd rate it maybe as a C, just because, you know, it doesn't really do too much. It can miss as well. Surrey opts for the tech spec. Man, there needs to be something in front of this rhino if he wants it to deal any damage. Right now, this rhino is basically just an HP pool. Surrey grabs a melting point. A very important choice here. I think that will do extremely well for him. Level 2 rhino is now going to be coming in against the level 1 rhino. This little guy is going to meet his maker. Forgotten Arbiter opts to eat his rhino in the background, and instead plays out a couple of levels on the Fang. Oh no. This is not going to go the way of Forgotten Arbiter, given this current setup. A couple of Stormcallers would do extremely well on this flank. Of course, Arbiter just needs something that shoots up now too, and this is the problem that you can find yourself in. There's no easy answer to this, especially if Surrey plays out a few more Phoenix or just more chaff. There's not really good chaff clear here for Arbiter. The single point damage is tied up in these steel balls, which are currently being bodied by the Phoenixes. And now there's another giant unit, which is just going to melt the one giant unit of Forgotten Arbiter. He is in a really, really rough situation here. Out comes another fortress. Fortress is... Ooh, in the back line, supported by a unit of Fang. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure this Phoenix or this fortress is long for the world, as the Phoenix will be able to clear it out pretty quickly. But we could see a Fang fortress transition. Fang fortress isn't too common, just because it is cut down by something like melting points very quickly, and this fortress will drop in record time. Down he goes. Oh, and the backline Rhino didn't stand a chance against his level 2 counterpart. Fortress on the left isn't going to survive very long either. Oh, this is not looking good here for Forgotten Arbiter. He has no answer to a melting point. Oh, this fortress is going to die before the little Fang can make any difference. Wow, this is a ton of damage coming out. He is, I mean, he'll live, but he's definitely going to be in the danger zone. In fact, even living is looking a little bit, well, there's not 2,000 damage. There just isn't. All right, well, good game so far. Poor Arbiter is in a really rough spot, though. And as this Rhino drops, there isn't going to be much else that can be killed. In fact, I don't even know if the Rhino will. It does drop. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It's a lot of damage. Arbiter might be able to survive another round, but it's getting to the point where it's not looking good. Subsidized crawlers from Surrey. He's winning the Chaff Wars. Might as well keep winning the Chaff Wars by upgrading your crawlers for free. It's at least one upgrade he got for free. Here comes another melting point in the background just to deal with this fortress. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no indeed. And the electromagnetic shot barrage, excuse me, coming out for all of these overlords or melting points is going to be huge. It means that the only thing really open to Forgotten Arbiter is overlords, but I don't know if those overlords will even be enough at this point. Well, they certainly won't be. One in the back line here would be good to get rid of this potentially level 3 Rhino. Oh, it's looking tough. Yes, the Rhino does get level 3. He is just going to absolutely decimate this little guy. Oh my, more Rhinos. I don't think this is the answer. They'll come in, they'll deal some damage, but I think Arbiter might go the way of the dodo this round. See, he just has a little bit too much to deal with. From his perspective, there's units coming in and out from every single which way, and Surrey has such a health advantage that he can continue to play out these units, and more importantly, he can get tech upgrades that normally wouldn't be done just because he has the ability to spend time on it. Now this Rhino might drop, but honestly, I'm not sure it will. It will one-shot those steel balls. This fortress here on the left is forfeit. Very quickly it will die. Let's see how quickly. About 5 seconds. Ooh, that's quite good. The Spinny on the Rhinos is able to get a lot of damage out. Wow, actually making quite a difference. Both towers drop. Actually, Arbiter's looking like he's going to be in a very good spot to win this round. I really miscalled that. Great job by Arbiter. Those whirly-durlies on the Rhinos really made a difference. Wow, pushing himself into the game in a big way. I was doom and gloom there for a second, but Arbiter takes the lead. Man, we have a game on our hands. Okay. Let's see what Surrey can do. Senior Attack Specialist. Arbiter, what are you going to pick up? Extended Fortress Range? Probably not worth it. Fortresses are dying very quickly. Wow. Surrey says, actually, that Rhino has been answered. I need something to deal with this now. And without the fortress here, Arbiter actually has a ton of cash to work with. This fortress here on the left isn't going to do much, that's for sure. Actually, he just moved the fortress over. Oh, there's a fortress of his own for Surrey with Fang. That will get him a couple extra units of Fang, but honestly, Fang aren't the thing that are going to do it. There's a melting point. Okay, melting point to back this up. Just a lot of extra DPS. Surprisingly useful in this case. Let's see if Arbiter does support this fortress on the left anymore. I wouldn't think so, as there's really no good use for it. But hey, it's a big distraction. This Melting Point's going to get a lot of levels out of this, though. Arbiter does opt to eat the fortress. Yeah, I would think so. It's not really too important at this point, but these little Fang are going to survive for a while, and more importantly, they're pulling away these Phoenix. Range on these steel balls is going to be very important. Wow, and Arbiter burns the Midnight Oil. He's trying to close out the game here. Range on everything. Everybody's got to shoot and shoot and shoot. Down go all of the Fang. Down go the tanks. Wow, and the Chaff War is suddenly not going the way of Surrey. Forgotten Arbiter is able to clean up a ton of the chaff, and these steel balls get on the Melting Point very quickly, clearing it off, hopefully quick enough for these Fang to get online. Yes! Yes, it is, and now the Fang are shooting down Phoenix. Blammo! Does Arbiter win this round? I don't think so. It's going to be close. Oh, it's so close. Surrey surviving with 42 HP. Man, these Fang are becoming very aggressive. Oh. Elite hackers? Is it time? No, Surrey thinks that the elite hackers is silly. I would agree with him. I would agree with him. We see the jump drive coming out here for the Phoenix. Maybe positioning them right near the front to try and take care of some of these rhinos. No, positioning them in the back line. So what will happen is the Phoenix will shoot, they'll scoot, and then, or sorry, will scoot, then shoot. They will take out the tower, and actually pushing them all the way over here will cause them to take out the second tower as well. There's no anti-air in the backfield. It will take a moment, but it can work. Wow, these tanks are going the way of the dodo. Lots of units coming out. 3 fortresses. Wow. The fortresses did not hold up very long, but they will deal a significant amount of damage to the rhino, and more importantly, they'll soak up a lot of the damage from the Fang. As long as one of these Phoenix survives, at least Surrey has a chance to survive this game. This Melting Point is going to have a lot of killing to do. Oh, these Phoenix. Will they get caught by the Melting Point? I don't think so. I truly don't think so. Forgotten Arbiter still has $1,200 to play with. 18 seconds left. He's really got to make some decisions. It's Mustang. Did he grab the... He did not grab the Mustang tech. Where's he putting him? In the back line. Ooh. And here comes another Melting Point. That Melting Point's going to have to do a lot of work. Explosive ammo on the Mustang. Unfortunately, they're not going to go after that Phoenix. Alright. Arbiter doesn't realize it, but that... Well, he does now. That explosive ammo is very, very important here because it will clear out a lot of these Fang and things, just allowing the Melting Point to get online sooner. But there goes the tower. Oh, these Phoenix zipping through. The jump drive makes them faster. They're going to come on this way and take the tower again. Oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no. And that's a lot of damage that Arbiter is going to be suffering because there's so many giants on the field. Oh, that is really bad here for Forgotten Arbiter. Is he dead? 4, 8, 1,600, 2,000. Yes. Great plays by Surrey. Absolutely phenomenal. Arbiter does go down. Surrey advances to the finals. I love that Phoenix play. That's something that we could definitely learn from. Phoenix in the back line. Scoot through. They'll take out both the towers, especially if there isn't any anti-air. Arbiter almost cleared it up there with those Mustang. Great game. We'll see you guys in the finals. This is it, our finals. We have Surrey versus our potentially blue or red player. Turns out they're going to be blue this time. It does seem that no matter what you do, they will always be opposite. Surrey actually going with a very common pick here. He is a aerial specialist with Fang and Stormcaller, a very standard pick. Our blue player opting immediately to go for a headbutt. Let's see if they reposition. Knowing that Stormcallers are on the field, the headbutts become a little bit more dangerous. Yes, they position more towards the left. The left is a more common placement for people for headbutts, and they are an elite specialist. Oh, wow, that's not something you see very often. Actually, having these crawlers is going to be exceedingly important. Let's see if Surrey can kind of sniff this out. I wouldn't think he will because it's 50-50, and deploying a little bit farther back and safely is generally the best bet when playing with Stormcallers. Our blue player does still have $100. They choose to save it. That's a very good choice. Round 2, you only have $400, which means that you cannot deploy 2 units of tanks or 2 medium-sized units as the elite specialist, which can really, really harm you. Let's see if Surrey can play enough roadblocks for these Stormcallers to get in, deal the damage they need to do, and then take out the tanks. kind of unlikely. Unless Surrey plays another Stormcaller here, which would be quite uncommon, or a unit of Phoenix, I don't think this will go his way. Crawlers will go a long way, actually. No! He does play the extra Stormcallers. Not a very common choice, and unfortunately they're on the wrong side of the field, but it actually is what he needs. So he'll definitely lose the left. The question just becomes how much damage can he do in losing the left, and it's going to be significant. Probably both these units of Fang will go down. Yeah, that Stormcaller shot was amazing. Let's see if they're able to clean up this unit of Crawlers. Oh, good shooting. For some reason, only one went off. Kind of weird. It does look like they get the majority of the Crawlers. Now these Stormcallers just need to clear away as many units as possible before the Crawlers get in and kind of lock down the rest of these Stormcallers. Luckily, the Stormcallers are spread out quite well. This guy won't be in the minimum range. Ooh, but they're going after tanks. The tanks are not in a good spot, though. They're kind of all spread out. There goes the rest of the Crawlers. One survives. Oh, two survive. Three survive, and that's really unfortunate. They all drop. Now it's just Stormcallers shooting all these units in a straight line, and most likely the Stormcallers will win this. Man, having that extra unit of Stormcallers was so important, as you saw there. Very well played by Surrey. You know what is actually strangely a very good answer to a headbutt is Stormcallers. They're flimsy, but that extra range and damage is very important. Our blue player needs to continue to win this, so he opts to play the missiles. Getting rid of those Stormcallers in the back line is exactly what he needs to do. Clears out a unit of his, I think those were tanks, actually. Yeah, clears out a unit of tanks and instead plays a unit of Phoenix. Or sorry, a unit of Wasps with Crawlers. Surrey opts to go with an Overlord. I'm not a huge fan of playing Giants early. The reason I say that is it's very easy to counter Giants, and our blue player has left enough room right at the center here for a Giant unit. Ooh, and it looks like he even played some Crawlers in the back line. This is not going to go very well here. This Overlord's going to have to shoot at a ton of different units, and that's going to be an issue. It will clear off a ton of these Wasps, though, in a single shot. Will it clear the rest of them away? No, it's distracted momentarily. That one little Crawler is doing a lot of damage inadvertently. And down goes the Overlord. Man, that one little Crawler just won the game. It absorbed 2 shots. The first shot's missed. The second shot's just, of course, get the Crawler. But if that Overlord had shot down those Wasps, it may have been enough for old Surrey to continue in this game. That's the reason why I don't really like playing Giant units too early. Because they're too easily countered and they need support. Giant units are kind of like the keystone of an army. If you play that keystone out too early, there's no real point to it because the arch doesn't exist yet. Ooh, these little Fang might get a couple of kills. I think they got 1 Crawler for their efforts. Alright, there won't be a missile strike coming in to take care of those Stormcallers in the back line this round. Rhino reinforcements from our blue player. All gas, no brakes. He is ready to be aggressive. Where is the Rhino coming in? Oh, in his own backline. Okay. Surrey opts for the deployment module. Probably to get... Oh, he's doing the Stormcaller cheese. Well done. This is a great answer. So what will happen is the Stormcallers will launch. They'll devastate the Fang, but most likely also take out the tower. That is a great play here. And he even grabs a couple of these Mustang. Now, Mustang won't be able to take out level 2 Crawlers unsupported, but they are supported by these Fang. This is a great play by Surrey because he can also move these Stormcallers back. I've been talking about the Stormcaller cheese all tournament long, and I'm so happy to see it finally played out. This is the answer, or an answer, to a lot of headbutt aggression. Also, of course, playing units in the backline does help a lot. Surrey's kind of out of cash. Now, these Mustang do serve a dual purpose, actually having 2 units of them. They'll take out Crawlers, they'll take out Fang, and importantly, they'll get rid of Wasps easily. Let's see if these Stormcallers do get the tower. Oh, it's not looking good. They're unsupported. Oh, no. They whiffed. Stormcallers whiffed, and that's unfortunate. Now the Overlord is being overrun. There's just too many units of Wasps here for it to deal with them. Stormcallers die. This Rhino's in the backline. The Fang are in the backline. Man, Surrey made all the right plays, but just a few key mistakes in support and the deployment Unfortunately, those Mustang went the wrong way to deal with crawlers, and man, Surrey really paid for it. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Now, those Mustang, if they do get the explosive shot, will deal with all of these units significantly quicker. Ooh, subsidized Stormcrawlers would be good for both players. Same with the parasitic ammo. Man, these poor Stormcrawlers originally would have been great, but actually these crawlers made a big difference. A big, big difference. Yep, there goes the Stormcrawlers. And what did he pick up? Heavy hackers. And I think Surrey opted to skip. That is unfortunate. These Mustang need explosive rounds, range, or something. Opting for the explosive rounds and getting 2 units of them, good. In fact, holy crap. These Mustang are going to do insanely well. Yeah. Okay. I have to give it to the Mustang in this case because this explosive shot is going to clear away all of this chaff really without issue. Let's see if this missile does impact and kill off the Mustang. Oh, it does not. That's a lot of Mustang. Will it be enough? They're firing their lasers, or little machine guns as it were. They're cleaning these units up quite a bit quicker. Oh, I'm not sure they'll be enough though. Will the tower drop in time? The double Stormcrawlers are going to deal a lot of damage to the Fang on the ground. Yes, there's enough Mustang. Even though these units are level 3, the parasitic ammo is a bit of a nuisance, but I think there's enough Mustang to deal with this. Luckily, they get that just tiny bit of splash damage. Nicely done. Nicely done indeed. Our blue player's gonna need a unit with a lot of HP to soak up this Mustang fire. Could easily be some Rhino. Electromagnetic impact, that's gonna help a lot. Just canceling all of the tech on these Mustang is huge. Unfortunately, this Overlord is just feeding XP to the Wasps. That's not what you want to see. Mustang could get a level. That would be significant here. Ooh, and we do see the shielding. Man, those shields are going to be incredibly important. Those shields are going to be incredibly important. Oh, just missed it. What I was hoping is that this unit of hackers would move over and be able to support against the electromagnetic impact. That doesn't look like it will be the case. And now the Vulcan is going to reign supreme here because this Overlord still is not supported enough to survive against the Wasp aggression. Wasp and Fang. I do like these missiles in the backline, and unfortunately, I believe these missiles have been here for a while. Surrey still opts to deploy these Stormcrawlers to the backline. Maybe he realizes that the Stormcrawlers aren't doing a whole lot, so just popping the missile with them is probably worthwhile. Not only that, he's probably planning on selling them next turn anyways. Whoop, there's the little bug. Out comes the electromagnetic impact. It kills the shield. That's damaging, and there are going to be a few extra crawlers here to support. Oh my gosh. All of these units are dying very quickly, but there's a huge amount of units left on the right. Let's see if it's enough. Those shields are really going to come in play here. Can the Mustang pull this off? I don't think so. I think that Vulcan was exactly what was needed. It's a level 2 Vulcan. It's just going to clear everything away. If there was a hacker in the front to absorb all that fire damage, it would have done incredibly well. But without it, they are going to drop very quickly. The hacker keeps stutter stopping. I'm not sure why. If it had gotten onto that tower, it may have been enough. I think the hacker was stopping to shoot. Actually, I have no idea why it was stopping. There was nothing there that would have stopped it. And I don't believe it will ever have enough damage to take out this Vulcan. No. Oh well, that's a lot of damage coming back at Surrey. Game is basically even. I do like the hacker play. They have a lot of extra HP. He just needs to get one in a good spot. Barrier coming out for both players. And are the Overlord... Oh. I don't know. Here's the Vulcan. Vulcan Wasps is great. Instead, we see a Melting Point. Melting Point could honestly be placed a little bit more aggressively, as these Vulcan are going to clear up all of the chaff killers in the form of these Mustang. Mustang are going to be in a really, really bad spot here. Oh, these poor Mustang. You know, did our blue player notice these Stormcrawlers in the background? If he didn't, those Stormcrawlers are actually going to claim his tower very quickly. Yes, and it looks like the melting point is in the right spot. That's going to be incredibly good for him. That melting point's going to have to do a lot of damage. Opting to play a third unit, and it's going to be crawlers. Crawlers, yes, just to clear away this missile again. Let's see if our blue player noticed it. I don't think he did. Oh my gosh, these Stormcallers are actually online to the tower. First barrage might be enough. Somehow they missed. Oh my god, those Stormcallers are terrible. Absolutely terrible. But that tower dropping is incredibly important as these units are able to march through. That is very good. He might even claim this Vulcan. In fact, I think he will claim the Vulcan. Yes, he will. That's a lot of extra HP. And he might claim this Vulcan on the right. I don't think so, but the great thing about claiming these units is there's a lot of extra damage coming in at the very final part of the round. Oh no. Oh no, he might actually get this Vulcan. He does! Wow. Oh my gosh, our blue player is going to suffer so much damage. No, he didn't get it. He does not get it. Okay. I thought he had claimed the Vulcan there. If he had, our blue player would have suffered a ton of damage, but as it is, he's still going to take a real walloping, putting him down to 800 HP. Those hackers really did a great job. Those guys deserve a level. Orbital Javelin for our blue player. Unfortunately, that Javelin's really well placed as these giant units are just basically on top of each other. And the Rhino's going to come down and shut down these Stormcallers. Did he notice? Yes, he did notice the crawlers. Yeah. Oh, Javelin over here. Okay. Not badly placed. Here's another melting point. The melting point can come online a little bit earlier. I would love to see, yes, range on the melting points, and I'd love to see range on these Mustang as well. Just so that way they don't have to get too close to the Vulcan. Instead, opting not to grab that. Instead, getting a few levels. Oh man, this melting point really needed a level, and unfortunately it doesn't have one. Oh, bye-bye Overlord. You know what? He does have enough money now to level it. He does not. Instead, grabbing some more shields. This shielding is going to be very important. Lots of shields for both players. Unfortunately, with this Overlord dying, I don't really think it will have much of a chance. Oh my gosh. The melting point does level. Wow, great plays here by Surrey. Absolutely phenomenal plays. I would like it if our blue player... oh, he can't reposition Wasps. That's a shame. Being able to reposition all those Wasps right onto the flank may be enough to overwhelm a flank and win. Out comes the Javelin. It does claim the majority of those Wasps. Man, the Vulcan, though. The Vulcan are just easily able to clear away all of these Mustang. Melting Point lived. Melting Point is going to claim a Vulcan. Oh, no. Oh, no. Are all of the Vulcans going to change teams? This is kind of a weird bug, but I believe it, yeah, I believe it was shooting at the Vulcan. Oh, this is going to be super, super bad. I think all of the Vulcans are going to join the enemy team. Go, Vulcans, go. A very, very powerful win for Surrey. What an absolute beast of a player. Both players played well, but man, those heavy hackers came good. I love to see a hacker victory. If you guys are enjoying the channel, please like and subscribe. Let's take a look at our placements. We have our winner, Surrey, with Forgotten Arbiter and Mad Oblivion coming in. Great plays, and congratulations to all of these players that did participate. I hope that you see your name here if you did play. If you'd like to see more Mechabellum content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We will see you in the future. Bye.